Hey, what's up, everybody? I am very excited to bring a very interesting person to introduce to you because this is one of those people that is essential in our business. The lifeline of us selling homes is basically homes sitting on their foundation. So I brought you a foundation specialist, and Mark is going to tell us all about the very important work that he does that's so important, not only to real estate and real estate business and realtors, but also to homeowners. So, welcome, Mark.
How are you doing, Roxanne? It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Yeah,
So,
I began in the construction industry with my father. He was a a civil engineer and a land surveyor. So I worked with him on and off for about 10 years. And then, the downtimes hit in 09 or '08, and he had to lay everybody off. So I kind of had to reinvent myself. So I put some ads on Craigslist, and I was found by a company, and I started drawing foundation repair plans for them. And so that's kind of how I got into this around 2010. So 12 years ago. And then it's basically homes that are settling, cracks in walls, from the bad soils, and we repair them with these galvanized steel piers, and we can physically lift these things up. So I once I saw it, I was hooked, and it was very interesting, and I was good at it, and I knew what to look for. So that brings us where we are today. Been in this industry for a long time.
so you just mentioned something that I found amazing. So you said you started in 2010, and with a crew of how many people?
Yeah, so that company, there was only about 6 or 8 people of that company, and then this newer one that I started with in 2015, I was the one of their first on board, and we started with 5, and now we have 60.
Wow. Well, that basically tells you what a great need it is to make sure that the foundations of these homes are safe and sound. So, can you tell us what's the range of the homes that you normally work with and repair?
Yeah, so an, I would say an approximate age of a home is like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. We do some older homes, though. I know there's a lot in San Diego. We're not going to be for everybody because some of those old footings are they're just too brittle to hold our equipment, so they need brand new foundations, which we do some of that, but we mainly want to utilize our steel pier systems. Um, and those prices range anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to $100,000.
So I'm going to share my screen and show our audience your website so that they can get some ideas of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to share, and so this is your website, correct?
Yeah,
So if we are looking on this website, this is what we're talking about,
yeah,
basically, right?
yeah. I probably took that picture.
That is actually a very interesting picture of what we're talking about. So some large cracks. So this is a crack in the wall of a
Mm-hmm.
house, and this is a crack of the actual ground of the house. Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're talking about the steel, so this is actually your uh, jackhammering into the foundation of the house.
So what they did there, there's two guys. I think that's Jonathan and Matt. They're installing a helical pier. It's like a giant screw that torques down into the earth. So they had to remove all that concrete and get the footing prepared for it, and they put a big bracket on the bottom of the footing, and then they drive this pier in, then attach it to the foundation. Once they get them all attached, they hook it up to hydraulics, and you could physically lift the homes. Like a person could be standing in their house and feel it lift up. It's very amazing.
It sure is amazing, and this looks like the whole crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all. That's probably all 60 of us there. And like I said, when I started in 2015, there were there were 5 people maybe. And that's great that you're scrolling down there, because we've reinvented our whole company in the last year to 2 years, where we're actually trying to educate clients. We're showing them our competitors, but we also want them to read all the articles and know that we're the company for them. And we have a person that his full-time job is to write these articles about what the signs and symptoms are, what how we repair things. We're basically a main resource for the foundation industry.
Got it, got it. So so I see you have residential services, commercial services.
Mm-hmm.
So so tell us what the difference is when you're doing residential versus commercial work.
Yeah, so residential, we're just going directly with the homeowner. Like I'll meet with about 5 homeowners a week. I'll go to their house, assess the problem, see if there's something for us. If there is, I'll give a repair plan. Um, and then we obtain the city permits and the engineering and all that. And then commercial is mainly, say, like a general or a job superintendent or a contractor that's doing a commercial project will sub out the foundation repair to us, and we'll be in charge of that while they're, like, say, a large tilt up building, for example. Those settle into the ground. Or we recently did one in the high desert where they were doing a brand new gas station, and they needed these big concrete footings, but the soil wouldn't hold the concrete long term. So they had us go out to do deep foundations. So install helical piers deep in the ground, say 20, 30 feet. And then they pour the concrete along the top. So it takes out the bad layer of soil, and it goes to the good soils, say 20 feet down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
So,
me in a crawl space right there, probably.
so when you were talking about crawl space versus versus slab on grade,
Yeah.
um, I'm thinking more of residential
Mm-hmm.
buildings. So residential buildings, pretty much from somewhere between 1900 to 1940. I'm thinking
Yeah.
that would have raised foundations and would be
Mm-hmm.
on crawl spaces, and then slab on grade, 1940 till basically today.
Yeah.
Um, so so can you tell us what the difference would be between repairs and what does it go into actually doing those repairs, and what you actually do?
Yeah. So the crawl space homes, we need about 18 inches of space to get our crews in there and crawl through them. And they're like a perimeter footing, concrete footing, and then about every 6 feet, based on what loads they need are required, they have a post and pad or a pier and beam system.
Mm-hmm.
So we could do those repairs as well. A lot of times water gets through and undermines the foundation or those pier and beam systems, and they start settling in the middle. So
Mm-hmm.
we go in there and we replace the wood posts and the concrete pads with, say, steel, like it's called a crawl space jack, and it can adjust. So, and then there's also seismic retrofitting.
These
Um,
are permanent. When you put these jacks, do they stay within?
yeah, forever.
Okay.
and they're warranted. So, and then there's that third picture over on the right side. That is called a UFRP10 plate. And what that is it holds the mud sill or the sill plate to the footing. So it's kind of an earthquake retrofitting. So if there's a shaking aspect going on or a seismic event, then those will keep the structure on the footing attached. And then as far as the slab on grade homes, that's a lot of our repairs. And those are just installing the piers along the perimeter where the settlement is occurring. And once we lift it up, we inject a polyurethane to fill the void underneath, like the raising aspect of the slab. And then we inject a polyurethane under that. So we do both. I mean, a lot of times crawl space homes are a little cheaper to work on, but it depends. But we probably do, I would say 60% slab on grade and about 40% raised foundations.
Is that because there are more homes that are within slab on grade construction, or is that because of your specialty? What do you think accounts for the fact that you're doing more slab on grade?
Yeah, some of the really, really old homes, like in San Diego and some Orange County and some Riverside and LA County, they have a brittle concrete footing, so they may not be the right fit for us. I've seen stuff that's on river rock, where it's just river rock and mortar, and that won't handle our heavy steel equipment. So that they need more of a concrete company to come in and remove and replace those footings. So that's probably the main account for the difference, but we still do remove and replacement of footings. It's just not, it's probably not what we would propose, 100% of the time.
Got it. Okay, well, let's go to your YouTube channel, because you have some amazing library of videos and content that that is just amazing. What I'm super impressed to see so many videos that you have done. And how often do you do these videos?
Well, I do when I'm alone at a site. Say I'm in a backyard and I see a leaning chimney, I just do like a selfie video showing what I'm seeing, or how the chimney's dropping down and moving outward. And I probably do a couple a week, and we post them on our Instagram page and our YouTube channels. And then we've been on the TV show Flip or Flop a couple times. And then so we have that content, and then we do a segment called They Ask You Answer. So it's customers will ask us questions, and we'll sit there in our warehouse and just answer them. And they're usually like little short 1 or 2 minute videos, but the more content we can get out there and the more education we can provide our customers, it's better for us.
Got it. I'm going to play a little bit of your flip and flop video. Let's see what you're doing over here.
Sure.
Is the foundation guy here?
He's in there right now checking it out. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So unfortunately, this house is dropping from one corner to the next 10 inches.
Wow. So I guess the question is, how do we fix it?
Well, let me take you outside and I'll show you.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get to the bottom of the footing, and we're going to install galvanized steel piers to bedrock, and then hydraulically lift the house.
How many are we doing?
All the way to here, and then all the way down this other side of the house. There's going to be, in totality, 19 of them.
What is that going to run?
I can get it down to about 50.
Think we can return this thing? Think we can return this thing? Oh, and I just realized something too. All this tile work's gonna be ruined.
Right.
It's just not the cost, it's also the time. We can start the process today, but we know from experience it's going to take months for the engineering approval and the permits. That also means months of paying interest on our loan, which sucks.
Okay.
50,000 is actually not that bad when you're thinking, foundation repair.
What's going on, dude?
Yeah. And they had a really big return on that house once we were done.
This house is killing me. Like,
Because you can sell a house after it's been repaired,
anyways,
and you can get market value again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know from experience of buying a Craftsman house, and the house that we bought was held by jacks, by actually car jacks. On one side of the house when we got it 16 years ago, and we had to replace. So, and what you're describing here sounds like it's 50,000 actually for replacing a foundation on a house like that. To me, sounds like a bargain.
I was in Spring Valley last week, and it was I think it was used as a rental, but it wasn't even a big house, but everything was down. And so she got a $68,000 quote, but I would say an average for us is like 30 to 40. Cause that's, you got to remember, engineering is 6,000 on top of what we're doing. And then permitting is about $1,000. And so our quotes could be, a 30,000, but once it's all said and done, it's getting up into the 40 range.
This is the other one that you were telling me to look.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, and you don't have to watch the whole thing, but it just shows that house was dropped 15 inches in San Clemente.
Level set today, so you can get paid. Level set.
So yeah, that is just a lot.
Skip
Hello,
the ad.
this is Mark Cook at Dollhouse
Yep.
Construction. I am in San Clemente, California. This is a real hotbed area for foundation issues. So, as you can see, this house is right on a slope. So, it's actually right next to it. So, if I walk there, I'll probably drop off about 50 feet into a canyon. But I wanted to show you some of the inspections I run into once in a while. So, look at this here.
Yeah.
Are we
This
looking?
is the window shattered. I just walked through the.
Are we looking at this house basically, breaking into two and falling into the canyon? Is that what we're?
Yeah. So this house in particular, I think that there's not many that will be demoed that I look at, but this is probably one of them, because they would have to do a massive retaining wall along the cliff before they did any repairs to this house. So I think the engineer was quoting like 200,000 or 300,000 just for that work. So this is one of those ones that we just weren't able to do, but it's a good example of what happens with these houses. They're kind of split in half, like you just said.
Wow. Well, I'm going to play a little bit more just so that you can see what it looks like on the inside.
Door, and that crack is about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches wide. So we're going to venture in here. You can look at how tweaked that door is. So I immediately felt like I was falling when I entered into this property. You can just enter from the side, the west side, and you immediately feel yourself falling. So there's another crack in the ground. That's about 2 inches. But look at how tweaked this bay window is. And I'm gonna go down. I feel like I'm falling right now. So I probably have already dropped about 3 or 4 inches in about 15 feet or so. Then you walk down the hallway, and I feel like I'm really falling. And then we'll look at the bathtub, see that separation of the bathtub? And then
And this is one of those extreme ones, by the way.
So let me ask you this, because this is probably worst case scenario kind of a house that we're looking at. But in general, foundation repair, I mean, in my 22 years of selling real estate, not to say that I don't come across, foundation needing to be done, but I don't come across as every house is, is splitting into two and falling apart. I find it that a lot of the times it's maintenance work that you need to do. It's, you go to a plastic surgeon and you do maintenance work. It's basically the same, and not all the time you come across, nightmare scenarios as this.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice to a regular first-time buyer that's trying to buy a house and getting into having to maintain a house?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. The main thing I've run into in the last however many years, 12 years or whatever, is that when people don't get an inspection done, and you have to have an inspection, and they'll point out foundation issues. It's kind of like a blanket, hey, there's this plumbing, just have it looked at. There's this foundation, but we charge, I think, $750 for real estate inspections, but it's worth every penny because it's illegal to sell a house that has known foundation issues without disclosing it. So I'm talking about the major cracks, running down a slab or whatever. But I would say that's the biggest thing. Also walk the property, see if there's anything different. Drainage is huge. I bet 90% of the houses I see have water sloping towards the foundation. Water saturates and then drops the heavy footing. So I would say the most important thing is have that inspection done, and then they'll call us out or give, for a foundation specialist to come out to take a look. But that's the biggest thing. But go back to the that San Clemente home. Those are just problem areas, and everybody knows. So like if it's not every house I go to I give a $50,000 quote. Sometimes I don't even give a quote. I do my elevations, walk around the house, see if I see anything. It has to drop more than a half inch in 10 feet of elevation along the flooring before I even start or think about giving a bid. But yeah, I would say but back to that, that's very important just to have a inspection done for a first-time buyer for sure.
Got it. Well, thank you very much, Mark. This was very, very helpful, and I'm sure that our viewers have learned a lot about what you do and what a valuable service you provide. And I mean that, because in our line of work, you guys are gold. Without you guys, there's no real estate to be sold. So you definitely provide a very valuable service, not just to our industry, but also to the homeowners that we deal with. So we thank you for the work that you do. And audience, thank you so much for joining us and for staying with us throughout this video. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. You can find us at PemberleyRealty.com or on Instagram at Roxanne Govari. And we will see you later. If you have any real estate needs that we can help with, please let us know as well. My phone number, 619-778-0577. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.